Hey everyone, Minister Robinson here, and I want to welcome you to, I guess, the holiday edition because it is Memorial Day of Mic Drop Monday. Permission to heal. Why would anybody need permission to heal, to become great again? I'm going to let our featured speakers speak upon this, and I'm actually going to jump in because, like I said, it's a holiday weekend. So some of our featured speakers had to take a much needed rest. But motivation and inspiration must continue on. I'm thinking, nowish.
What? Come on. Gotcha. Uh-huh. What? Come on. Come on. Come on. Oh.
Hello, Mic Drop Monday family. Aurora Unique back here with another Mic Drop Monday motivational message for you. And today's motivational message is permission to begin again without shame. Permission to begin again without shame. Yes, permission is granted. You have the right to begin again, and you do not have anything to be ashamed of. Understand that. And there's something sacred about starting over. Let's be real. Most of us don't feel free to do so. And why is that? Because shame has us stuck. Because shame whispers to us, you failed. Shame says you messed up too bad this time. Shame convinces us that the past disqualifies us from a new future. But let me give you some real enlightenment today. Let me give you a truth override today. You have permission to begin again without shame. Not from people, not from the world, but from God, from grace, and from the strength within your struggle. Understand that starting over does not mean you're weak. It means you're wise enough to stop pretending and be bold enough to pivot. That's right. That is right. You are not weak for starting over. You are strong. You are strong and you are wise. Understand that. It takes confidence and boldness to shift into a pivot to be able to start over. And understand that you do not need approval to press reset. What you need is belief. What you need is belief. Belief in yourself. Belief that your story isn't over and your mistake didn't cancel the mission. In real talk, you are not what you've been through. You are not your trauma. You are not your past choices. You are not the titles people threw on your name when they didn't even know the full story. You are becoming. You are healing. You are walking redemption out day by day. You have survived what should have taken you out. And now you're being called to step up, not to shrink back. Let that shame go. Let the judgment go. Let the fear go. You're not starting from scratch. You're starting from experience. Now that you know better, it is time for you to do better. Now that you know better, it is time for you to do better. And again, you are not starting from scratch. You are starting from experience. You are now using those past experiences as stepping stones in order for you to elevate. You are becoming. You are becoming. You are stepping out of shame and you are walking into glory. Understand that God does not recycle perfection. He uses broken pieces. He builds masterpieces out of mess. And he can turn your mess into a message for somebody else. I want you to understand that this is not the end, it's the rebirth. This is not failure, it's foundation. This is not shame, it's your shift. So breathe, relax, relieve, and release as many times as you need to. Forgive yourself. Forgive yourself and step into the new you. It is time. You have permission to move forward. You have permission to begin again. Permission has been granted. Access has been granted. Walk forward. And know that your courage to begin again is already breaking chains for someone else. Keep moving forward no matter what. Each day that the Lord allows us to see a new day is a new opportunity to begin again. Take advantage of every single day of your life that you are blessed to see. And understand that you will not see yesterday ever again. But if you are blessed enough to see tomorrow, you have a chance. You have a chance to begin again. Now, it's all up to you. Access is granted. Walk into the new. Walk into the new. Understand that struggle embraced, strength unlocked, permission granted. Now move. Mic drop. Y'all, this is Aloy Unique again here for Mic Drop Monday, y'all. Drop that and get dark with the Lord to understand that the struggle is truly your strength. Get G'd up with him so that you can gain the confidence that you need in order to proceed and succeed on yet in this battlefield of life as you move forward into the new. As you step out and rise without shame. As you now use all your past experiences to help somebody else so that they don't make the same mistake. Y'all already know y'all can follow me on all streaming platforms under Aloy Unique or Real Struggle with Strength. Y'all, I love y'all. Y'all stay blessed. Until the next time.
So let me ask you a question. I kind of told you some of our featured speakers were actually taking a much needed rest. Giving motivation and inspiration constantly, it's a job. It's definitely a job. But like I said, the show must go on. When we talk about having permission to heal, that seems like such a crazy statement. It seems like something that a madman will say. Why do you need permission to heal? The world that we live in has so many stressors. The people around us stress us out. Our jobs stress us out, or what we're trying to achieve, our goals, it stresses us out sometimes. It makes us feel like we are broken. You're not broken. This is just the way the universe works, or if you believe in a higher power, that's the way your higher power works. It kind of gives you the feeling that you're being broken, but what's really happening is you're being reshaped into something bigger, better, stronger, faster. Something that can actually help the world to heal as well. Have you ever noticed that when you have a storm that you've gotten through, that the resilience and the confidence builds inside of you, and you can actually be of assistance to another person to help them heal? You're not giving them permission to heal. You're just being, I guess a good word would be the catalyst to help them heal, to help them get through their pain, their storm. Through the last few weeks, I have been working on this project, an insane project, to help others heal. In fact, I actually made a soundtrack, The Healing Room. Who would have thought? But you have to constantly ask yourself, why do you feel it necessary or important to have the process of your healing be validated by another person? Because if you're going through something, if you're experiencing some kind of pain, some sort of major storm in your life, how does it really affect them? Or does it just affect you? I myself have been in that situation where I have felt broken, where I have felt that I would never rise again. Part of the reason why Mic Drop Monday exists, to let people know, like, listen, you're not the only one going through this. And you can be a better version of yourself if you stop focusing on the storm, but more importantly, stop focusing on, do I have permission to heal? Do I have permission to become greater? Do I have permission to be of assistance to others? I have been broken in relationships. I have been broken in jobs. I have been broken in my endeavors, where I thought I would never get back up. But look at me now. More resilient, more stronger. In school, there's this old saying, in school, you're given the lesson and then you're given a test to see if you have absorbed the lesson. In our lives, in our reality, we are given the test first. The test is basically everything that we go through that we find to be uncomfortable. But in comfort, there is no growth. In uncomfort, there is always growth, because you want to get out of that feeling of not feeling whole. We can't go through life deciding that, hey, listen, I really, really want to heal. What do you think about this? Hey, by the way, I'm on this journey to heal myself. I just came out of a really bad relationship. Can I get your permission to move forward? It sounds insane when you think about it. At the end of the day, this is your life. It's like my grandparents used to say, you came out by yourself, you're probably going out by yourself. In between, make this the best life possible. In order to do that is you have to constantly heal past the discomforts, heal past the things that you feel are holding you back. A lot of this stuff just sits in our freaking minds. Most of it. It just sits right there in our minds, and we give this whole validation to, I can't move forward until this person agrees, or I can't move forward until this person gives me permission to move forward. Some of the greatest things that have been discovered in this lifetime was because people were told 100 times, you shouldn't do this. It's a really crazy idea. Why are you doing this? You're wasting your time. And they just said, you know what? I'm not seeking your approval. I'm not seeking your permission. I'm going to go ahead and make this happen. There have been so many great leaders that have been told, hey, listen, you can't do this. I understand where you're coming from, but you can't do this. I'm not going to sign off on this. And they went and did it anyway. And by them believing in themselves, by them believing in their capability to heal, become bigger, better, faster, and stronger, look at how the world has slowly, but is becoming a better place. All of you have that power in you. But first you have to give yourself the permission to overcome whatever in your mind you think is holding you back, whatever is keeping you from your greatness. I would love to tell you that by watching Mic Drop Monday, you will have no more storms, you will have no more issues, you will have no more hurdles to overcome. I would love to tell you that, but that would be false. And you know what? At the end of the day, that would be the worst life possible. What shapes us and what makes us is how we deal with those uncomfortable moments. Those moments when we feel that we need to heal. Those moments that we find that we are truly the lone wolf and there's nobody that's going to give us permission to move forward. What do? You, yes, you, the person watching this, you decide to move forward. You decide to heal. You decide that you're going to become greater than the version that existed yesterday, because that is always the goal. To become better than the version that you were yesterday. And happily, I have to say, there's these storms. There's a storm right now brewing over my head, right over the horizon, ready to land right in my lap. I'm not going to run from it. I'm going to use it as an opportunity to grow. And if I'm the only one carrying that umbrella, wow, all those elements are falling down on my head and soaking me, and I want to cry, and there's no shelter or nothing, I'm going to decide that I'm going to make it through without anybody's permission, because I don't need anybody's permission. I've never needed anybody's permission. You don't need anybody's permission to become the better version of yourself. So the breakup, it happens. Okay, it's been happening since junior high school. Okay, the toxic people in your circle, it happens. It's been happening ever since like kindergarten. Okay, the people that are not supporting you, it happens. It's been happening since like when you got here. Okay, but what you have to realize at the end of the day is that you do have the potential to move forward. And that is part of the driving force behind Fractured Bonds, behind No More Chains, behind all of that. The reason why that exists is because, we've gone through life with all of this betrayal and backstabbing and all this other stuff, and it's real. It doesn't go away. Again, it's been happening since the playground in kindergarten. Okay, it doesn't go away, but many people feel ashamed to share their story. Many people feel ashamed to just move forward and heal. Many people feel that they need permission to move forward. That's why these projects exist. If you want to find out more, I'll put the link to the Linktree. There's actually a whole soundtrack, a healing soundtrack. It's called The Healing Room. There's a book. There's just so much stuff because, again, after getting through these storms and deciding that I didn't need anybody else's permission to heal but my own, I want to pass that on. I want to pay that forward so that others can become the best version of themselves ever. And that's all I got to add on to this Mic Drop Monday. You know what? It feels strange just sitting here, but hey, listen, the show must go on. Minister Robinson, Church of Real Talk, you already know. Love you guys.
Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of Mic Drop Mondays. I'm so happy to be here. I look forward to doing this every weekend for you guys to see it on Monday. So this episode or this segment, is pretty important to me. It took me years to understand that starting over is not failure. It's proof that you refuse to stay buried. Life does not ask permission before it falls apart. It just does what it does. Life is life. But sometimes the divorce comes before the healing. Sometimes the fire takes the house and the last piece of peace you were holding on to. Sometimes starting over is the only option, but shame can try to convince you that it's a consequence, not a calling. I've had to begin again more times than I can count. You know, I was in a crazy abusive marriage with a manipulative person, you know, a narcissistic situation. And once I got out of that, I went to live with my parents. You know, thank God for them, for their support, because I didn't have to, well, I wouldn't say I didn't have to, but I didn't go back to the situation I was in. Because normally I think it takes a woman like 7 times is the statistic to leave an abusive relationship before she's finally all the way done. So luckily I had my parents, and they were not having any of that. You know, when I was leaving, it's like, where are you going? You know, because they understood the ramifications. So that was the first start over point, you know, moving with my parents. So then after that, I saved my money, me and my kids, and we got an apartment. You know, so we're chilling there, we're living a good life. I'm still grinding, still saving money. So then we get a house. So we're living in the house. I decked that house out with everything I wanted, the best of everything, all the mirrored furniture, you know, that you could want, all the crystals, everything. But that house ended up burning down, and I had to start over, you know, not completely, but we had to go back to my parents' house. So I understand starting over. That's just one situation as to where I had to go back and start over again. Sorry if I'm moving around. I don't want you guys to get dizzy, but had a little technical difficulties going on. But yeah, so after that 10-year marriage, full of manipulation and emotional abuse, you know, after being homeless, after raising 3 children, one whom's on the autism spectrum, while working overnight at Walmart, while working my day job, and also running 2 side businesses. Yes, I did that for a while. After my house literally burned down, I began again every single time. Not because I wanted to, but because I refused to let my children inherit my silence or to see me quit. I refused to believe that starting over meant that I had failed somehow, because it's not. It's growth. Shame will have you hiding. Shame will have you shrinking. Shame will have you stuck in the last chapter when God already turned the page. But let me tell you something. You don't owe anyone an explanation for surviving. You do not need permission from the people who watched you fail to start your rise back up. You don't. So if you are listening right now and you're wondering if it's too late, it's not. I don't care how old you are, it's not too late. I'm 41 years old. I'm getting ready to be 42. If I have to start over again tomorrow, I'm going to do it, because that's life. You don't lose anything with so-called failures. You just gain better insights. You get better. There's many businesses that I've started and not finished and had to start over, but I don't lose any of that experience that I've gained. I don't lose the knowledge and the people that I've met, none of that. I am just more fortified the next time I decide to start again, which you always have to do. You know, the decision is on you, but you always have that. No matter what, no matter how old you are, it's not too late. You get to begin again, you know, not because you are broken, but because you're brave. Start the business. Go back to school if you want to. Get a trade. Heal your body. Set new boundaries. Write a book, you know. Choose peace. Walk away. You know, whatever beginning is whispering to you, you don't need permission for it. You don't. You just need to believe that your healing is worth the restart. So this week, we reclaim the right to start fresh. Without shame, without guilt, without apology, without age shaming, none of that. This week, we begin again with boldness, with clarity, with power, and with the reminder that every rebirth starts with one decision. I choose me. Thank you all for listening. I'm so happy to have been here for another Mic Drop Monday. If you guys want some more information on what I'm doing, my organization is called Raising Kings. We're at Raising Kings _ We help moms who have sons communicate with their sons better, provide resources for them to be able to provide positive male mentors for their sons. So yeah, we're just a powerhouse of free resources and motivation. And our podcast is for single moms also. That is Raising Kings 25. And the latest episode that we had was Tracy B. She is a former lawyer with over 20 years experience, and she goes and tells us how to file and represent ourselves to be pro se in court if we can't afford a lawyer. I know a lot of times we deal with manipulators in court, when we're going through divorce and custody battles, but she goes into a lot of the strategy that we need in court that some of us don't recognize. So go ahead, check out that episode if you feel so called to do so. But again, thank you guys. Thank you for everybody else on our Mic Drop Monday panel, and I will see you guys next week. Thank you.
Okay, we got through another Mic Drop Monday. Motivation and inspiration on deck. Hopefully you are enjoying the last day of this 3-day weekend, this Memorial Day weekend. Just take a moment to think about the families that have lost loved ones, during all of these conflicts through the years. We have to salute those who gave their all to this country. Whether you like the country or not, that's completely up to you. But still, we have to show our support, our love, our empathy to those who served with honor. With that being said, Minister Robinson, Mic Drop Monday, you already know. Love you guys.
I used to shrink to fit your lies, walked on eggshells, silence cries, gave you love, you gave me pain. Now I'm rising from the chains. All those nights I blame myself, tried to fix what you just broke, but your power fades away every time I speak my soul. No more chains, I'm breaking free, finding strength inside of me. All the scars you left behind, they just taught me how to shine. No more whispers in the dark, I reclaimed my beating heart. This is not your game to play. No more chains, not today. You wore charm like a disguise, but I saw truth behind your eyes. I gave and gave until I cracked, but baby now I'm taking me back. All your mind games, all the spin, kept me locked in silent sin. But I've learned the rules I see, I was never weak, just free. No more chains, I'm breaking free, finding strength inside of me. All the scars you left behind, they just taught me how to shine. No more whispers in the dark, I reclaimed my beating heart. This is not your game to play. No more chains, not today. Tell your stories, twist the truth, but the mirror speaks for you. I'm not your shadow, not your shame. I've stepped into my flame. No more chains, I'm breaking free, finding strength inside of me. All the scars you left behind, they just taught me how to shine. No more whispers in the dark, I reclaimed my beating heart. This is not your game to play. No more chains, not today. used to cry in silence, buried deep inside.